Hello and welcome back to the podcast. For those of you who are new here, my name is Kyle Vaught, and for the past 18 years, I have worked in the realm of leadership, communication, and skills development. This includes years on the radio. I also did broadcasting on sports networks, and I've also globally broadcasted to people all over the world. And today I want to talk to you about how to get people to buy into your dreams, because I myself have had big dreams in my life. I've had grandiose dreams and I've watched them drift away. I've also had people help me reach certain dreams, and I actually reached those dreams, like the broadcasting and things like that. I reached those dreams, but it wasn't by myself. It was with help and getting people to buy into those dreams. And so maybe you're in a place where you're stuck in a career, or maybe you're still in school and you don't know what to do. Maybe you're out of school and you still don't know what to do. That's okay. Every single one of us is going to have a dream. And I feel like this conversation is an important conversation because it's a skill that we need to develop. And it doesn't matter if you're in sales or your careers has nothing to do with getting people to buy something or buy into you. I think this is a skill that actually transfers across all sorts of situations, whether it's academically or career-wise or relationally. Getting people to buy into you is an important part of life, and it's important to see the potential that you have, not only you, but also being able to buy into others and recognizing the potential of others. So as we break this down, I hope that this conversation will encourage you, because we're going to do a few exercises and things like that. But ultimately, I think at the core, we all want someone to buy into us. We want somebody to fully believe in us and say, you are awesome. Whether it's academically, career-wise, or relationally, we want somebody to say that, and we will thrive when they do. All it takes is one person to say, I believe in you, go get this. And we will cross oceans. I've seen it happen time and time again. It's the motivation that you just can't even describe. But wherever you are, exercise number one, here's the first exercise. And if you're driving on your way to work, or maybe you're getting ready for work or getting ready for school, if you're at the gym on the treadmill or something like that, more power to you. That's awesome. This is a kind of a weird podcast to listen to, but I love it. Get at it. I want you to do this exercise really quick. Just the first few people that pop into your head, I want you to think of somebody, one or two people in your life who fully bought into you as a person. They bought into you. They believed in you. They wanted to see you succeed. Think about those people, because I am going to guess that the people that are popping into your head are the people who made you feel safe. They made you feel motivated. They made you feel strong or encouraged you. They were connected with you during a dark time in life, or maybe they were connected with you celebrating something in life. Maybe it was a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a spouse. I think the spouse portion is like the most beautiful example of somebody who's fully bought in, because that's, when you have a spouse, that's somebody who's saying, there's a covenant between us, right? They say their vows. And it's, I have bought into you so much that I want my entire future to be based on you and I. Our children are going to be you and I. We're making them together. Our family and the development of our family is going to be based on you and I. I'm buying into your future and you're buying into mine. It's the most beautiful example of being fully bought in. But I think relationally, right? The people who popped into your mind, they're probably friends. Maybe it's a parent of a friend who invested money into your college, or maybe it was a parent who invested money, or somebody who stepped into a parental role. For me, I think of a few different people. I've got a lot who've bought into me, including my parents, but I think of one friend, his name's Ben, who I don't even know how we ended up being roommates. Like, we didn't know each other. It was kind of one of those like blind roommate things where it's like, I need a place to stay. He needed a place to stay. We both kind of signed up at the same time, and we ended up, and within the first 10 minutes of meeting and talking with Ben, I was like, this is a guy who I will follow to the ends of the earth for. Like, he is that person. And even to this day, whenever I need encouragement or help, or I need a kick in the pants because I'm being childish, I call Ben. And Ben will remind me that life isn't as bad as I'm saying it is. So stop believing the lies. He'll also invest time into me. We've also invested money into each other, which is a whole nother story. That'll have to be in my book or something like that, because that was absolutely nuts and crazy. But yeah, I digress. I would venture a guess though, and I'm wondering if you've ever met somebody who the moment you met them, you just connected with, right? You were like, oh, yes, I'm going to buy into them. They're awesome people. I am not only willing to invest my time into them, I'm excited to invest my time into them. I think C.S. Lewis says it best. He says that friendship is born the moment that one man says to another, what, you too? And I think that perfectly encapsulates that feeling, because when you meet somebody and you immediately click, it's like, oh, I thought I was the only one, but no, like, and those are the best friendships I've ever had. I say that because the people who came to your mind, it's very important to recognize a few things. And these are just a few questions to ask yourself about these people. What is one key feeling that person gave you, and why was it important at that time? So why did they come to your mind? What was the specific moment that you knew that they bought into you, or why did they come to your mind aside from other people? Because I'm sure you have a bunch of other people that have bought into you. But what was the specific thing? I'm curious, because for me, one of the things that really connected me with Ben was there was a conversation I had about I had been through a breakup and I hadn't gotten over it. And it actually was a long, long time to heal. I just wasn't choosing the right choices in life. And so I was prolonging that healing, right? Instead of doing like when you break something or you sprain something, you're supposed to rest, incline. What is it? Rest, ice, cold, elevate. I can't remember what RICE stands for now, but I was doing all the opposite stuff. Like, I was just prolonging the pain. And Ben had a very candid conversation with me, and he gave me this feeling of, let me give you the keys back to your life, because you have been taking the bus for a long time. And he gave me this feeling that was, it helped me see my agency and my ability to say, oh, they don't control me. I control me. I need to control me. And I took back that control, and that conversation really connected Ben and I. And it was just another reason why I bought so deeply into him, is I recognized that he bought so deeply into me. And we had this deep connection, still do. Another key question to ask yourself about these people is, what were you doing when they bought into you? Were you going through something? And I kind of shared with Ben just now, but were you going through something? Were they going through something? Or did you just get out of something? And so you both connected on something that you've both been through. Those key parts of your life and those people who bought into you, it helps you recognize on a grander scale, not just how people connect in general, but it helps you recognize that this is what you need to communicate to people when you're wanting them to buy into you. So maybe you really need somebody, like you really need help. You need a friend's help, or you need a professor's help. You can't just go at it like, hey, bro, help me out. You actually have to stop, settle, figure out, okay, what are the things that have connected me to people in the past? Was it an all of a sudden thing, or was it a gradual thing? And how does that work? And then you need to kind of chip away at it to the point where you can simply say, I really need your help because I think you've been through this and I'm going through this. Or I know you've said you've been through this. Can you help me out? Because I'm going through this right now. Maybe it's, hey, I'm really striving for this and I see that you've already done these really cool things in your life, or I've seen you've already done this. Can you give me some guidance? And that will bypass a lot of the filler stuff that we do, because most people won't pay attention close enough to be able to have that conversation. And that'll bypass a lot. And you would be surprised how many people actually want to buy into you. They want to invest in you. They want to spend time with you, because that gives them that sense of validation, but it also gives them a sense of purpose of, oh, I love this. I have people in my life who I don't think they've bought a penny into me. However, I've bought into them because I see myself in them, or I see potential. And there's a large sense of purpose of, hey, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but these pathways are the ones that really left me mangled and torn. Just a heads up, please choose wisely, right? And all of a sudden, it gives you a sense of, you know what, maybe I went through some of these things so that I could connect and buy into other people, and I could invest in other people and encourage other people. It's one of the reasons why I do this podcast, is because I've done so many different things that I don't know everything in life. I'm not an expert on anything, really. But I do know that the last 18 years of my life have been all around human communication and human connection and relationship and leadership. And so that's where I know that I can speak to. And that's what I speak to, what's called a proof of concept, which we'll get to in just a little bit, is I know this works. I've seen it work. I have a proof of concept because I've been doing it for 18 years. It's not like I just woke up one day and said, hey, I think that I want to start IBM or the next IBM. You wouldn't believe a word I said, because I have no credentials that say I do have that. But if Steve Jobs or Bill Gates said, hey, I want to start the next IBM, everybody would be like, yes, I will listen to that, because they've already done it before, which is why that proof of concept is so important, which we'll get into. But I think it's important to recognize the people in your life who have bought into you, and recognize those emotions and recognize those things. Because once you can recognize the connections that you've made and connected with in the past, right, you build a confidence that you can make these connections in the present and in the future with new friends and new people. Because what a lot of people do, and what I've seen, is they meet somebody, they have that spark, and they immediately want to jump into this deep end. And what they end up doing is they jump into this pit together, and they get scraped up. Sometimes they break legs or whatever, because sometimes it's a really deep pit. Instead, what you have to do is remember how you got that deep connection before, and you have to dig little by little by little by little by little together. And eventually you realize that the two of you have dug a deep pit of connection, where you both have seen each other at rock bottom, or you both have seen each other at lows as well as highs. And so you have to do it little by little. And at the end of the day, those are the connections that last a lifetime. So when you're wanting somebody to buy into you, there has to be a recognition of, is this a deep connection, or is this a shallow connection? Right? Some people are not supposed to be in your life forever. Some people come in and go out. Last episode, I talked about a friend who came into my life. I went on a couple dates with. They were the most incredible thing for like a week. We weren't meant to be, we weren't going to be, last long. But it still was a great experience, because I recognized that, that was, although it was a very shallow, I was the one doing a lot of the digging. They digged a little bit, and then we just went our separate ways, and we realized, you know what? We're not going to make a deep connection, and that's okay. And the reason why I bring this up is because everybody will have this vision of like how they want their life to go, how they want, I want to do X, Y, and Z. But then when push comes to shove and you actually need help, and you don't know how to ask for help, and you don't know how to get people to simply want to help you. So sometimes people will have these great ideas, and I see this right now, where they'll have a great idea, but they just don't know where to start. They don't. They don't know where to start, so they make excuses, and then they prolong and they wait. And the reason why I know this is because that was my entire 20s. My entire 20s was basically doing as much as I could, confused, because I didn't know what I actually wanted to do. And then when I finally figured out what I wanted to do, at the end of my 20s, I turned 30 and COVID hit, and I had already had this like shift in my mindset of, okay, so I'm not going to be doing sports broadcasting. What do I exactly want to do? And I had all these skills and I didn't know where to start and I didn't know what to do. And I remember at one point I had enveloped myself in isolation to the point where it just was unhealthy. It was purely unhealthy because I was telling myself so many lies until I had somebody who simply said, I think that you can do this. Like they bought into me. It was my dad. He's like, I think you know what's right. And I think you just need to start. And it was so encouraging because it was the first person who had bought into me in a while. And it was the first purpose that I had where somebody had actually spoke life into what I was doing. And it helped me snap out of it a little bit. And then from there, we just started and we kept going and we kept growing. And so you can have this great vision, but it's being able to develop the skills to recognize, okay, these are the people who connected with me in the past. How did I connect with them? Did it happen all at once or was it a slow burn? Maybe you need to start getting uncomfortable and slow burning people in your life. Just proximity wise. Maybe it's friends at work who you don't feel like you're connected with. Maybe it means instead of going home and putting on your jammies and watching Netflix, you got to dress up nice and say, hey, let's all go out Thursday night. Let's all go out Friday night. Let's all go out this weekend. Let's all get together. Let's have dinner. Hey, let's go out and watch football together on Saturday. Or, hey, let's meet at this bar. We'll have a couple drinks and we'll have a couple laughs and we'll tell a couple stories. And you'll start doing those surface level digging. And before you know it, you're going to get deeper and deeper and deeper until those genuine connections have been made and they buy into you as much as you buy into them. This is a unique point too, because I feel like when it comes to our career, the shift is a little different because it's not just that we want a deep connection with our boss or career. Maybe we want a specific dream to happen. We want to make something happen. I want to start up business. Okay. This is where the slow burn works, but in a different way. What are you doing today to start digging, and who are the people that you're digging with? Because you can do a lot of digging by yourself when you're doing a business that's your own business. However, you're always going to need people. So if you're a company selling something, you're going to need a consumer. If you're a company that provides a service of some sort, you're going to need customers and clientele. When you're doing that, how are you slow burning to become a voice that they buy into? What are you compiling together? And I'm just going to go out on a limb here that all of us, or most of us, if not all of us, have been through an interview process with a job. I mean, what's the goal of an interview? It's to get the job or the company to buy into us. We want the company or the people, the interviewers, to recognize this person has the skills or can learn the skills to do this job. And they're the best candidate because they fit our community. They fit our culture. They fit our job position, right? Sometimes it's just simply, hey, you fit the job position, go do it. But interviews are where we compile a resume. And our resume is a compilation of all the accomplishments that we've done and all the great things that we've done to simply say, hey, look at how awesome we are. Now, I've noticed, and this is why another reason why I call back to before where everybody uses these skills, I've noticed that as I date in my 30s, every date is a resume. And it's an interview where you go on a date and the entire date is, let me tell you about who I am, all of the accomplishments I've done to try to prove to you and get you to buy into me as a person now, because I am showing you that I am on track to build a future that is worthy of a relationship. So we spend the first date or second date basically laying out our personal resume or relational resume of saying, look at all the things I've done. And that's not always the best relationally. I'm just going to say that. I prefer, let's go on a walk. Let's just have a conversation. Don't really care about your past. Just tell me about who you are right now. Don't care about all the stuff that you've gone through. Just give me a good essence of who you are right now. But I digress. The interview process, I think, is where we have this grandiose idea. And sometimes if you've ever been on an interview where you're like, I think I'm overqualified for this job, or maybe I'm underqualified for this job. And you're like, whoa, I don't know if I can do this job. But we have these moments where we have to ask for help, or we have to go into this explanation. Well, tell me about a time when you were a team player, etc. This is where we get to use the proof of concept that I mentioned before, right? We get to talk about in the interview all the things that we have done and the proof that it's not just a fluke, that we've done it multiple times. Like I said before, I am not a relationship expert. I haven't had many relationships in my life, and the relationships I've had didn't last very long for a lot of different reasons. I was just not good at it, and not in my 20s, and then I haven't really tried as much in my 30s until lately, so I'm getting better. And I definitely am building a little bit more of a proof of concept there. But if you ask me, hey, are you a relationship expert? I'm going to say no, because I haven't been good at relationships. I haven't had a lot of relationships. But if you ask me about communication, I can lay out concept after concept after concept that I know will work. If you ask me about leadership and skill development, how do you develop better skills? I can literally show you 129 episodes of this podcast, now 130 episodes, where I talk about certain skills or certain things in your life that are going to develop you and help you become a better version of you, whether you believe in scripture or Jesus or believe what I believe or not. I'm simply pouring out levels of what I've learned, things that I've learned throughout my life. And I say this all the time, but this podcast is just as much for me as it is for you and for the listeners and for the people who are tuning into this, wherever you are, because I'm able to talk through some of my ideas and some of my challenges, and also what I think about throughout the day, the conversations I have with myself, and I can flesh them out and develop and write and kind of write down little notes and things like that, which I have over here, which is why I look over here sometimes. But I write these notes and different accomplishments and different things and reminders and quotes that I've read and people, and I get all of this stuff down, and then I get to talk about it. And in talking about it, it solidifies, no, wait, I actually did that. How cool is that? Or oh, I know I have this skill. You know what? Maybe I'm lying to myself. And if I'm lying to myself, I have met enough people to know that I'm just like everybody else. So if I'm lying to myself, chances are other people are lying to themselves about this. So I need to have a conversation about it. Not in a sense of, I know what I'm talking about and you need to listen to everything I say. No, have a conversation with me of, hey, I'm feeling like this. And if you're feeling like this, you're not alone. And I want you to know you're not alone. That's the whole purpose. And so the proof of concept is I've been doing this. I have proof that this is who I am and what I'm about. And so when we're doing those interviews, we develop that proof of concept to get people to buy into us. And that's the key thing. If you don't remember anything from this podcast except this, you need to learn how to develop proof of concept, which is why I say you need to remember the people that connected to you and bought into you, you need to remember that. And then you need to remember the accomplishments and the things that you've done. Collect your data and track your data. As you go through life and as you do hard things, you need to write it down in a journal or in a notepad or in Instagram. Take pictures of it. Whatever you do, you need to track it so that you can go back and be reminded, nope, I actually have a proof that this works. Because the person I was here developed into the person I am here, and the person I am here developed into the person I am here because of X, Y, and Z. And that gives you a certain confidence and a hope, because now the reason why I say that our greatest future lies in the correct view of our past is because so many people, including myself, will look back in the past and say, oh, it was so frustrating and bad, and I've gone through X, Y, and Z, and this is why I'm the way that I am. No, that's not true. It may be partially true, but you are the way that you are right now because you're looking at things in the past as a victim, or maybe you're looking at things from the past incorrectly, and you're saying, I went through this and it was worthless. I went back to school at 27 for sports broadcasting, and I'm not working in sports broadcasting right now. And I'm 36 now, but I use those skills every single day, just in a different way. And I never thought I would be working for the company that I work for now or in the job that I work for now, but I love it. Absolutely love it, because all of those broadcasting skills I learned, and I look back and I say, oh, that's why I'm able to do what I'm able to do today. Not because I went through this and now I didn't reach certain goals or certain dreams. It's actually, I went through all that stuff and I got to experience all sorts of goals and dreams. Sometimes your dream job is not the job that you're going to end up with at the end. Sometimes it's the job that you actually get in the middle because you experience it and you realize, hey, you know what? This is beautiful. This is exciting. I'm going to celebrate it and enjoy it while it happens. And then you're going to move on to what your skills have built you up to. Because if you stayed in that dream job any longer, you would start to wither away and die, because you drown out and you stop growing and you aren't developing. Even though it was your dream for a time, it's not your dream forever. And the reason why I can say that is because I'm a walking example of it. I remember going into an interview for a radio station, and I was so excited. This was back when I was doing radio full time and also broadcasting, and I was so excited about this interview. I was like, whatever it takes, I'm going to end up on the radio, and I'm going to be like Dan Patrick or Rich Eisen, or I'm going to be like Colin Cowherd, and I'm going to be talking about sports all day, and this is going to be my life. It's going to be awesome. And I went into this radio station, and I was so excited, and I sat down, and the interviewer started describing, the job, and the interviewer was going to be my boss. And so he started describing the job, and I was like, I can do all this. I don't have all of these skills, but I know I have most of them, and I know I can learn the rest of them. Like, this is a job that I absolutely can do. And as the interview went on, the interviewer started talking about himself in a very unique way, very grandiose, and started making jokes with the other colleagues that were in the room. And it made me uncomfortable. Like it was to the point where I was like, oh, I could do the job. I absolutely could do the job. But I am not buying into him as a boss. Like, him as a person, I just can't buy into him. I don't want to be around that. And I remember I walked out of the radio station thinking, I know I can do the job, but I don't want to work for him. And I know I have the skills, and I know I believe in myself, and I know I have other people who believe in me, that this isn't the end all be all. And it was probably one of the first times that I walked out knowing, I don't care if they give me the job or not, I'm not taking it. And I don't think I answered any of their calls because I couldn't buy into this guy as a person or a colleague or a boss. I just couldn't. And I didn't walk out of there sad either. I walked out of there with my head held high, and I was excited because I walked out of there knowing I have the skills to do it. I have the skills to make my dreams happen. I know that I can do all the things that it takes to be on the radio. And it was this um, really just encouraging moment. And I remember that, and it really gives me a sense of peace because now I look back and I know, hey, it wasn't that you didn't have the skills, it's that your dream changed. And that sometimes happens. So maybe you're in that spot where you went to school and then you're not doing what you went to school for, but you're working a job and you don't know if you want to do something else. Instead of looking at it as, oh, I want to do something else, this isn't my dream job, I want you to just simply think, what are the key things that make your life happy? What are the key things that you look for and that you strive for and that you get excited about? What are the skills that you're using at your job? What are the skills that you're using while you're studying, a specific class or school, a specific degree that you're going for? And the reason why I say that that's so important is because all throughout your life, you've had people buy into you. And all throughout your life, you've gained skills. And now I want you to focus primarily on that proof of concept of what works and what doesn't. What have you done, and what have the people instilled in you that have bought into you? How have they invested into you, and how have you invested into others? Because when you invest into others, it raises your POP score. And what POP stands for is probability of profit. When you are investing in others, it automatically raises that score where other people will say, oh, I want to invest in him because they're investing in others. And if they're investing in others, that means when I invest in them, it will continue to flow through and go all the way down to the next person and the next person because you're instilling that flow through. And so as you are going through life, if you are trying to get people to buy into your dream or buy into you as a person, whether it's academically, career-wise, or relationally, maybe it's your spouse who you just really want them to buy into, hey, I think I need to quit my job and start this. That's going to be really hard. But the skill of being able to say, I have a proof of concept, or I have a vision that it's not going to be just me. When I need it, I'm going to ask for help. And this is how I'm going to ask for help. And this is my plan because I have a vision of what the future can be. But I don't know how to get there, but I do know how to start. And that's building that proof of concept and building that ability to get people to buy into you is because they recognize, okay, they've succeeded in X, Y, and Z. You show them your resume. Okay, I see you have a proof that you can do this. I see that you have the skills to do this, and I know that you can do this. And what's more important than that? Because when people see that connection or that connectivity, and instead of trying to jump off of that, deep hole and say, let's go deep right away, people will respect that slow burn, that slow digging of, hey, can you help me with just one shovelful? Can you just one shovelful? Cool. Awesome. Really appreciate your help. And then a little while later, hey, can you help me with another shovelful? And before you know it, they're like, yeah, I'll help you dig the whole hole. Let's just do it together. And those relationships are actually those bonds that you make that mean a ton. I've shared this story before on the podcast, but I got this job because of a boss that bought into me. And she bought into me so much that within a few months of working under her, I was on her team. And within a few months, she said, hey, there's another position in management. I think you'd be great at it. And I'd only been working there for a couple months. I was like, what? Like, I just got here. And she's like, yeah, I know. And I want you to, you deserve it. You should. And she bought into me fully. So she helped me with interview prep. I ended up hearing no. But I went through the interview and she was like, no, that's great. You developed, you learned and all this stuff. And then there was another position that came about. She's like, I want you to go for this position. I think you'd be great in this position. And again, development. I worked really hard. We met all the time. We went through interview prep, and then we went through the interview, and I heard no again. But I got to know the interviewer, and I asked questions of what could I have done differently, or what were they looking for, or how could I have developed my interview skills a little bit more, et cetera, et cetera. What about my proof of concept? Like what about my past didn't show that I had leadership skills or the skills that you needed? Come to find out, it had nothing to do with me. They just had to go with somebody else who had a certain credential. It's like, oh, okay. Like I didn't have that credential. Fair enough. But I heard no. And then I tried out for another job, heard no. Went for another job, heard no. But I eventually got to the point where this job, where it wasn't a, hey, let's try this job. It was, this is the job that we think that you would be best at, and we want to help you get this job. And they did. All of the interviewers that said no were all a part of the team that helped me interview for this job and introduced me to my now manager and introduced me to the team that I work with and helped me go through the interview process to where I was so fine-tuned that I remember the last little tidbit that I did right before I went through my interview process. I had to give a presentation in the interview, and I went through the interview presentation with one of the guys who had said no. He said, if you do that, you will get the job 100% of the time. I can't see a world where you don't. And I did that, and I got the job, and all of these people had bought into me because this manager had bought into me. And I can go all the way back, and we can go back and back and back and back on why they bought into me. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that everywhere I go, it's always looking for who can I buy into to raise that pop score? Who can I buy into, not out of a selfish reason, but because sometimes there's just people who you've been through it. And I know that there's people like Ben in my life who we've gone through these highs and lows. And when I met them, we connected because either I just went through something or he just went through something, or we were both going through it together and we just celebrated, or we both wept together. And so I meet people, and sometimes I simply know, hey, maybe you need somebody to buy into you. And maybe you haven't heard it in a while. So I just need to let you know I believe in you. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you've made it this far into the podcast, this is me buying into you. I believe in you. I'm investing into you. And you don't have to give me anything back. I hope you'll give me a like and a follow and share this podcast, but you don't have to. But if you haven't heard it in a while, you are worth moving forward and investing in. Your time is worth your effort. There's a Chinese or a Japanese proverb that Thomas Edison kind of adapted. And he says that a vision without execution is just hallucination. And the Japanese proverb is, a vision without action is a daydream. I know that you have a great vision for your life, and I hope that you will strive for it, but you have to put in action. And if you don't know where to start with one little shovel dig and ask somebody, hey, can you help me with one shovel full? We just go for coffee. We don't have to talk about anything deep. Just, how's your day going? Like, let's connect on a level of present and be present in each other's life. And as you do that, maybe go out of your way. Instead of, like I said, putting on your jammies and watching Netflix. Maybe that means you have to get uncomfortable and you have to stay up a little bit later, or you have to wake up a little bit earlier. Maybe it means you have to go to the gym because you know that at this certain time, there are going to be certain people there that really encourage you, or you see them and you high five them or fist bump them, and it gets you pumped up and you work out a little bit harder. But you build that community one little action at a time. And so if you have a vision for your future of what you want to look like, or how you want your career, or how you want your marriage to look like, or your relationships to look like, or your friendships and your academic world to look like, You have to wake up every single morning and put a little bit of action to it. And you have to keep moving forward. And it's that slow burn that eventually you'll get deeper and deeper and deeper with those relationships, and deeper and deeper and deeper with your connections. And more people are going to buy into you because they're going to see that slow burn, and you'll develop a proof of concept of, like me, the last 18 years I've been doing this. I can't exactly lay out everything all at once, but it's been 18 years of developing skills in people and developing people to be the best version of themselves. And that's all I want to do. So I really appreciate all of you who have listened all the way through this podcast. This is a little bit longer one. I like these. I get to ramble a lot more. But I appreciate each and every one of you for listening. If you would drop a follow, like and subscribe, all of that good stuff. We're on Spotify, Instagram, and iTunes. On Instagram, I'm at Kyle_Vaught, so you can drop a follow there. And then on iTunes and Spotify and YouTube, it's at Kyle Vaught. On Twitter as well, we're at Kyle Vaught, which is X. But I really appreciate you guys. I hope that you are encouraged. I hope you're challenged. And I can't wait for the conversations that are to come. And I can't wait to see how far you go. Because again, I'm buying in. I'm investing in you, and I believe in you. I know that anything that you put your mind to, you have the ability to do so. But you can't be afraid to ask for help and keep going. So I hope that all of you have a wonderful rest of your week. Remember to give grace, show love, and as always, stay stellar. Peace.